Okay, there we go. We're not getting any fancy intro. Okay, what? Oh, here we go. So what are we reading, Star?
Ours Poetica chapter 4 until we decide to end the stream, so
Yeah, until
don't know how
third.
long. I do have to go to bed. I have to get off the stream at least 9 o'clock my time, so.
Okay. And you're like an hour behind me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 2 hours to read. I think we're only getting through 1 chapter today.
Yeah, guys. That's because Kai feels the need to commentate on every fucking thing. I haven't screen my stream yet. Hold on.
That's literally why we're doing this in the first place. You said it was
I
funny.
know. Your commentary is funny. I'm not saying it's not.
Also, Rosh currently isn't here. I don't know what she's up to, but we planned a time. We planned a time. I think she exploded or something.
Exploded. Yeah, I don't really know. We're just gonna go with the flow, I guess.
Alright, let's see. Why are the chapter names so long?
Because they're based off the poems, Kai. I've explained this to you.
I don't care. It's so dumb.
Oh my god, you literally just hate joy, magic, and fun in that order.
In that order, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Have you started your stream?
Yeah, it started.
Can I start reading now?
Yeah.
Alright. Chapter 4. I do the very thing I hate. I do not do the good I want. That title is really hard to read. I'm gonna be honest. Okay. I'm not gonna read out all the notes, but I'll read out the trigger warnings. That's the only part of the notes. Trigger warnings for yelling and familial arguments in the first section, and discussions of poor mental health and self-destructive habits in the last section. Honestly, if you're reading fan fiction,
That's kind of what you're expecting.
Yeah, that is kind of what you're expecting.
And then, like, the age of, I need a trigger warning for the most stupidest things. Trigger warning for the mention of mother. So, I guess. I remember being on a server like that where it's like, you have to trigger warn when you're talking about your father.
What?
Like, okay, up you too.
Okay, see, I think trigger warnings are a good thing, but at some point they're so unnecessary.
No. It was like of the epidemic of where everyone had fucking mental illnesses.
You mean because of TikTok? And
Oh, shut up, bitch.
quarantine? Okay, we're reading. Tommy had changed. This, in itself, was admittedly not a very astute observation, or any news either. However, Technoblade was a researcher. His profession was one of inquiry and the following trial and error of questions and the results. And so, he would start with the basics. Is he treating him like a fucking scientific...
That is the realest thing ever, dude. My brother's like, they're, hi, Rosh.
Rosh, hello. We only got through the first paragraph, so you came just in time.
Yeah, I am so sorry. I had to make a mask actually for my history class.
Okay.
So I lost track of time, and now I'm doing resin.
I literally lost my headphones. I think I might start tweaking out.
This is going well. My one viewer in chat. This is going well. I hope you're enjoying.
It's literally probably me.
Do you have my stream open?
Yeah.
Okay, then it is you. Tommy had changed, not only physically, but assumedly mentally as well, over these past 7 or 8 years. While Techno might not be able to discern the evolution of the latter just by the metric of height, he could see how time had passed. The kid shot up like a beanpole. Okay. Some of these like comparisons are a little bit unnecessary.
Oh, you're doing much.
No, the story's doing too much. The kid had shot up like a beanpole.
I think that's a very reasonable analogy.
Same.
I think you are the one that's
You
wrong.
guys
in
are
this.
so weird, okay?
We're not weird.
Are we the weird
good.
ones, or are you the weird one?
Yeah, Kai.
You guys are coping so hard.
I am not coping.
Looming over
I am
Technoblade, who
perfectly
stood at a somewhat frustrating 5'10". What do you mean Tommy is taller than Technoblade? Okay, wait, let's get this straight. He went to Massachusetts. He's a fucking loser. He can't carry his own luggage. And he's 5'10".
Are you okay? Are you
And to add on top of that, he's twins with Wilbur. This story, man. They're like, how about we just take Technoblade and like put him through a blender?
Blend the blade.
right now.
And tall enough to reach Wilbur's eyeline. Okay, wait. Wilbur and Tommy are both taller than Technoblade in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's reasonable.
No! Agony. Okay. When the
Technoblade
teacher...
doesn't always have to be tall.
Yes, he
Kai.
does.
I think, honestly, I had canon in my little brain that Technoblade is short. He's
Well,
a short
you're also
kid.
wrong consistently.
When I am never wrong about anything.
How do time zones work, Star?
They're the speed of time, Kai.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
You weren't there for that, but this was a whole thing.
We're not doing this on stream today. No.
No. No.
How do time zones work?
Oh, okay, I guess we're doing this
I
now.
don't want to have this conversation. I know nothing.
We'll talk about it later.
I am not getting embarrassed on my own stream. I refuse.
How do pickles work, Star?
Or?
Every day I wake up and I'm just a punching bag. I'm a punching bag in fucking go-karts. I'm a punching bag with my own friends. I give up, okay? I never claimed to be a mathematician. I never claimed to be a junior. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. That's it.
Yeah, your 2 weeks for streaming with us? Interesting.
No.
Okay.
No.
When the teenager had first slid out of the SUV to help them load their bags at the airport terminal, Technoblade had briefly been unable to recognize his little brother, and he was unable to ignore the lurch in his gut at that realization. That all it took was a glance to cement the fact his brother had become someone unfamiliar. Sure, there was... Oh, fuck. Where did I lost my spot. I accidentally scrolled down. Hang on. Sure, there was still the dewdrop blue eyes. Then they were now speared with pinpricks of gray. There was tufts of blonde hair and barking laughter that silenced all other sound waves. Hovering. I can't. There's people talking outside of my room. I cannot focus.
How dare people talk?
How dare people exist? Okay?
Yeah. How dare people exist in Kai's vicinity?
I know.
The fucking audacity.
They have to be in another speed of time.
You know what? You are not embarrassing on my stream, embarrassing me on my own fucking stream. I refuse. Keep reading the fucking poetry book.
I was about to! But it all felt like nothing more than residue from a
Hold on, I'm being
childhood.
called for.
What? From a childhood Technoblade had missed. He knew that Will saw it too, from the way his twin's eyes lingered on the teenager's blonde head of hair from their seats in the corner of the coffee shop. How he straightened his spine when Tommy passed, as if to say, I'm still taller than you, at the least, will remain. What? As if to say, I am still taller than you, that, at the least, will remain. Okay. I'm sure Wilbur was being petty, and sure, Techno was being stupid and thinking his little brother would go unchanged in 8 years. But who could blame him? No matter how old he got, how he outgrew the heights penciled on the kitchen wall, how he had returned to a stranger in the place of his little brother, this home and its inhabitants would remain unchanged in his mind. There would always be the creaky step on the back porch and the garage door that jammed. There would always be a father with that kind smile and kinder touch who made hot chocolate after nightmares. The brothers who kept him up at night with unrehearsed bedroom concerts and too loud laughter. There would always be his childhood, hidden in the details. But what happened when you left that childhood behind? Technoblade was an academic. Yeah, okay, we said this 30 times. Okay. He was not used to being out of his depth. So he started with the basics, observing his little brother for any sign of change beyond the physical, analyzing every twitch of his hand and a worry line upon his forehead. He watched the boy interact with his friends at Kanoko's, straining his ears to overhear the teens' conversations. He had come to 2 conclusions. Okay. Leave him alone? Maybe? Just a little bit. You just calm down a little bit. You don't need to be doing all that. What? 1. Tommy and Phil were not close, or at the very least, were certainly in a spat. Sir? The boy had determinately ignored his family as he chatted up the barista and sat with his friends. It made sense for him to be wary around Wilbur and Techno. They hadn't seen the properly gremlin in 7 years, give or take. And of course, he would need time to acclimate to his brother's new personalities that came with adulthood. But there was no reason for him to be so jumpy around Phil. But Phil's a little bastard. Phil's a little bitch. Fuck him.
Why is there such involved in this bit?
What?
Really just fighting Phil.
I can't hear you.
Meanwhile, I'm just like,
Press star and mute. Okay. The two had lived in that house by themselves for years. They would have been each other's only company after Wilbur moved out and took his charisma with him. It didn't make sense for Phil to look as though Tommy was the son he was seeing for the first time in only a decade. Not to mention, Tommy's friends barely registered Phil's existence in the first place when they rushed past. That was not normal. Parents should know their child's friends.
I'll talk to you guys later.
What?
this is silly.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll just finish reading.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was that?
I mean, I have a PhD for Thanksgiving tomorrow if you want to do like another episode.
Like, what do you mean?
Like tomorrow, I don't have school,
Uh-huh.
so I'm not going to have anything
Oh.
tomorrow, like at our usual time. So if you want to do another episode tomorrow,
Okay. That might work.
all right.
Let's see. Parents should know their child's friends, or at least recognize their names. And friends were meant to be politely introduced and well welcomed. And so that led Techno to his next conclusion. 2. Tommy was hiding something. Whatever it was something that Phil apparently knew nothing about, and something he wasn't inclined to share with the family. And Techno would be damned if he didn't find out what. Okay, leave this boy alone.
Okay, I'm back, guys. I'm not gonna stream it. My family's here. They're all being fucking pricks right now, so.
Oh.
Star, we were just talking as you were gone. I don't have anything tomorrow because I have a PhD due to Thanksgiving. Do you want to do another episode?
I have therapy tomorrow, so maybe after therapy.
Right.
I'm really sorry.
I'm still streaming, just so you know.
Okay. Sorry.
You good?
Okay, let's just read through the chapter, and then I'll just post the VOD on YouTube.
Alright.
Right.
Similar to Wilbur, he had tried to look over Tommy's shoulder to see if maybe the teen's iPhone would provide some answer. What the fuck?
No!
Okay, so
Oh, I forgot about this.
they're like psychoanalyzing him, looking at his personal things. Come on. Leave him alone. Listen, I'm not a Tommy defender, but come on. Like,
We're Tommy defenders.
come on. But it found himself disappointed, as the teen did nothing more than scroll through Instagram, liking photos of classmates at beaches and amusement parks, and the few odd celebrities promoting some useless product that either contained too much sugar or flashed too many LEDs.
Prime core. Vegetable core.
Fine.
So, resigned to learning nothing new about Tommy's supposed secret, Techno had finally given himself up to the confines of a restless sleep in his father's beat-up Ford. That, at least, had been familiar. Okay, but can we leave Tommy alone? Like, for 2 seconds.
He's probably 2024, dude.
Oh, I don't have a water bottle. Now, as the family began to settle back into their roles that had once been second nature, dusting off old routines with bedside tables and untouched doorknobs. I need water. Okay. I could start tea, but my kettle is like really loud, so.
You have a kettle in your room?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it specifically for tea.
I just used my stove, a pot.
Well, I'm all the way upstairs, right? And I don't want to go downstairs to get my tea.
You're lazy as fuck.
Bitch, I worked for that money to buy it. Shut the hell up.
I just want to stay in my room all day. Man.
The outside world is exhausting and terrible, so. Let's see. I lost where I was. This is your guys' fault. Alright. He would be the first to admit he didn't do well with unknowns. Despite his assertions that he craved independence, moving out had still been the hardest thing he'd ever done. Regardless of the monthly care packages Phil sent like clockwork or nightly texts from his twin. The entire situation was one big unknown that he couldn't quite grasp. So he did what he did
Unless
best.
we're Technoblade and Wilbur, we're getting care packages. Meanwhile, Tommy would be just thrown into a blood pool to swim.
Go back to the basics. Why? Yeah, why is Phil like this? Come on.
Phil has favorites.
Well, to be fair, Technoblade being a favorite is canon in everything. Wow. But, like, Tommy was the second favorite. Can we at least stick to the script? Tommy is the second favorite. Everyone knows that.
Okay, just because he's second favorite doesn't. Okay, that's like saying Skittles.
No,
are my
Wilbur's
favorite,
supposed to be the least favorite.
Okay, okay, that part, yes, I get, but still, the treatment of Tommy is close to canon.
Setting his bags down in his childhood bedroom, which thankfully hadn't changed much, he didn't know what he would do if he found out. The little gremlin had trashed it while he was gone. He tried to pick up from where he had left off. The room had been stripped, practically bare when he had moved out, and was coated in a thickening layer of dust, as if it had all gone untouched for years. That would not do. That would not do. He got to work, cleaning the surface of his desk and shelving his countless books, hanging up the clothes he had packed with him in his closet until it looked a little less empty, and a little more like the organized chaos he was used to. How long are they planning on staying? Like, I swear they were saying it was, like, only a week, unless I'm wrong and they didn't specify that.
I think it's for the summer.
Oh. Okay, that makes more sense then. I was like, why are you doing all this hanging up your clothes? Come on. That's excessive. Okay. It will not be enough. The coy voice of his subconscious would hiss with each cardigan clung loose on a plastic hanger. You can never pretend to go back to a foundation that has already been torn up. He ignored that one, instead focusing on the other thoughts bouncing around his skull. Like why the hell he had thought it necessary to pack an East Coast coat for West Coast weather. This story has got to be the weirdest
You
shit.
don't put on it. It's a literal masterpiece, dude.
It is
Okay, you're telling this to, like, somebody who's, like, reading style is passerine. This is nothing like what I read.
This is still a masterpiece. It's one of the most known stories.
Oh, I didn't know about it.
Yeah, because you live under a rock or something.
Maybe
No,
my
this
little
is, like-
rock house is better. Sorry.
This story has genuinely I love it so much.
Yeah,
Every
that's
time I need comfort, I reread this
That's
story.
because you kin Tommy in it.
No, first off, I kin Tubbo and Tommy in it for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, that makes a big difference, pinning both the traumatized children. Mm-hmm.
Well, you
I
know
feel
what?
like I'm not appreciated enough here.
More appreciated. We love you here.
Hang on, I gotta get more comfortable.
Nobody appreciates me in my amazing kinnies.
Yeah,
They're
I
babies, they did
know.
nothing wrong.
Because you think time zones are different speeds of time. So.
Shut up. I will not be embarrassed on stream.
Listen,
You
it's
make
still
one
funny.
comment
It's
and
still
suddenly
funny.
It's your entire personality for the rest of your life. Just like the steak situation. The steak situation, I was never able to live that shit down.
I mean, to be fair though, that was ridiculous, Star. Why would you
I
do
was
that?
just eating steak with my hands, and suddenly I'm a savage beast.
You are! And then you did it again to spite us.
I ate steak with my hands, and You know, bites that found more fucking apparently atrocious is that I heated it up in the microwave.
You did! I know! That's ridiculous.
That is weird. Like, I love you, but why would you use a microwave to heat up steak?
Yeah,
Like,
steak
is
is
one
like
of the
sacred.
healthiest
You
foods.
can't just eat it with your hands and then microwave it.
In my defense, I was tired, hungry, and my grandma.
Except you did it a second time.
Oh, I did it a second time to prove a point.
I hate you.
The officers were being mean to me. You were bullying me. You were being mean to me. So I decided I have nothing left to lose. Why don't I just do it again?
Okay.
No,
And
but
so,
anytime
the next 2 hours.
Oh well, your opinion doesn't matter because you ate different pants. Oh, all right, we can go.
And so went the next 2 hours, until Phil called them down for an early dinner. His consciousness split in between the nostalgia at being surrounded by the echoes of his youth and the curiosity picking at his brain like a fresh scab. And it wasn't curiosity, not quite. It was a desperation to know, to understand who he was in this new dynamic surfacing. Leave him alone! Still, by the time...
Tommy the fuck alone, dude.
Still, by the time he was making his way down the set of stairs leading into the kitchen, I can hear myself echoing.
I can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. He could feel his spine ease out of its practiced posture into a relaxed hunch, content with the progress made in bringing comfort back into his threadbare room, making it a bit more homey. Even if the act felt hollow, him and Will weren't planning on staying that long. An unspoken secret passed between side-eyed glances when their father wasn't looking. There was no legitimate reason to remake a home out of this house. Okay. So, Phil doesn't even know how long you're staying. He dropped everything to go pick you up. And you're not even gonna stay for that long. Bitches. Bitches.
I mean, if Phil was your dad, if Ars Poetica Phil was your dad, would you want to stay for long either? No.
I mean, if I was one of the
I
favorites...
wouldn't want to stay for long, but I would give him a timeline of how long I was staying out of, like,
Listen,
courtesy and just blatant human respect.
Wilbur and Techno both saw him as a very good father because he actually cared about them. He didn't know that Phil was neglecting Tommy. So, like, yeah, why wouldn't they stick around?
They're just like flipping from being Tommy defenders to Phil defenders, depending on who is or Auntie in this situation.
No, in each situation, I'm an anti-Phil. Like, Ars Poetica Phil can fuck all the way off and go straight to hell.
Listen, if there's like an actual reason, I'd be shocked, like, for why he's so neglectful. Dinner, to put simply, was a dismissal affair. The tension from the car ride home had not dissipated over the course of a few hours, and it showed in every stilted attempt at conversation and long silence, pregnant with unease. What?
Like, I was Tommy.
I gotta say, some of the comparisons don't need to be there. Long silence pregnant with unease is a sentence I didn't need.
I think it's a great sentence. I'm gonna start using them more often.
I fucking hate you.
The server was pregnant with idiots.
Well, that just makes it sound like he impregnated an idiot.
I can assure you, it did not sound like that until you said it.
Well, it sounded like it to me, so I'm sure it would sound like that to other people.
Star,
What?
did it sound like I was saying the server was pregnant with idiots? Or impregnated in it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not confused now.
Despite the... Despite...
It's not that funny.
You just said the most ridiculous shit. I can't focus.
Not as funny.
Wilbur was pregnant with stupid is kind of funny. You gotta admit.
Okay. Breeding now. We need to.
Despite the meal being a family favorite, grilled salmon over dirty rice and speared potatoes, a welcome release from the dining hall food Techno had grown used to. The table spirits were low at best and non-existent at worst. If he was being honest, there was one main culprit, Tommy. Don't fucking blame him for you not being... Like, you could still be happy with your actual family. Tommy doesn't even fucking count. Like, just kick him outside right now. Cope.
What? What? That was my board for that.
Just kick Tommy out of the house. How dare he?
Yeah. The teenager apparently wanted nothing to do with his fellow housemates, going as far as to pull his phone out at the table, which was a big no-no of Phil's. Oh, shut the fuck up. Even Wilbur's efforts to drag the boy into a lively discussion about sand and other forms of sustenance, his twins' words exactly. It was somewhat unfortunate that he was the only one who formed brain cells in the room. Okay.
He's really throwing the punches out.
Okay. Fell flat. The boy doing nothing more than staring blankly at his brother before shrugging and returning to his food and whatever was entrancing him on that little screen. Whatever. That was fine. Technoblade was I'm so used to reading the whole fucking name. Techno was a patient man, and he could stand an awkward dinner or two before he got to the bottom of what was going on in this house. Tommy, what are you looking at? Wilbur, it seemed, was not. I fucking hate you. Leave him alone.
You aren't going through like.
He's being a little emo. Just let him be emo.
Just let him go.
Just let emo Tommy exist.
Justice for emo Tommy, dude.
Tommy just... He can't hurt you, emo Tommy.
Despite being his twin, there were many things about Wilbur that always had and always will confuse Techno. Like how the man had a neutral affinity for the arts that Techno had a natural affinity for the arts that Techno lacked. How he was able to find music in the most uncanny places. The sound of laundry tumbling in the dryer machine, footsteps on pavement, rustling bags, and whining backyard fences. Like how the man... Like how the man was quite literally incapable of thinking before he spoke. Okay. Screaming matches between Wilbur and Phil had been common throughout their household, and it was more than common to find the then teenager shuffling into his family member's bedroom with a late-night apology in hand and tears in his eyes. Techno didn't get it, not really. He didn't know how someone could lose control like that. Was afraid of what it meant if he ever found out. But he was Wilbur's brother, and so he tried. He took each mumbled apology in stride, easy to forgive his twin's lashing tongue, and even more stinging silent treatment. He didn't voice his concerns when, after moving out and creating a new sanctuary out of a dorm room in Massachusetts, fucking Massachusetts, though, Wilbur stopped returning his calls and
Why?
blocked
What's your back with Massachusetts?
and blocked his texts. He just sighed, waited for Wilbur to come back with an apology, and continued on. Listen, Massachusetts.
You know Massachusetts hates Sing Kai, huh?
Massachusetts doesn't deserve to exist.
Why? What did he do?
He may not understand his brother, but he knew him, and that was enough.
Oh.
But apparently he didn't know why, for the ever-loving fuck, Wilbur had decided to antagonize their little brother. You've been doing it too, though! Like, silently, but come on. You're looking at his phone, you're, like, psychoanalyzing his footsteps. Shut the fuck up.
Not the psychoanalyzing footsteps. That's wild.
What? Tommy's eyes tore away from whatever they had been pinned upon, blinking owlishly as he stared at Wilbur. Sorry, what? Wilbur let sounded something shrill. I'm so confused. Am I sleep deprived? A whine exploding from the back of his throat as he motioned at Tommy with his fork in frustration. Your phone! You've been staring at it all dinner. What are you looking at? Tommy's head jerked backwards as if he had been slapped, and he looked momentarily caught off guard before he straightened his posture, scowling. Why is what I'm looking at my phone any of your business, dickhead?
Yeah, I get him.
Boys, Phil began, but was quickly interrupted by the sound of Wilbur dropping his fork onto his plate with a clang, elbows propped on the table as he leaned closer to stare at the blonde across from him. Tegna sighed. It's Wilbur tantrum time, right on schedule. Okay, if he's this much of a bitch and you can predict it, why don't you toss him outside?
Yeah, toss Wilbur outside 2024.
And Tommy. It can just be my emerald duo. It's my business when you spend all day looking at it like it's the Holy Grail and, oh, I don't know, maybe when you're literally avoiding talking to your brothers who you haven't seen in a few years. It's none of your business, Tommy repeated, gritting his teeth as he clicked his phone off and set it face down on the table. And it's nothing important anyways. Trust me, you wouldn't think it was interesting. Is he fucking looking at poetry in his free time? Come on. Listen, you don't need to make your entire life around it. You have no identity whatsoever. This is just a little bit.
You know what? It kind of sounds like he's autistic with a special interest or a hyperfixation. Because he's autistic.
I want to hate this character. Leave me alone. How about my special interest is hating Tommy right now, so leave me alone.
Autistic people.
Wilbur snorted. I fucking hate that word. Wilbur snorted, dark eyes flashing with something that Techno had long wished he could forget. Of course, it was all only a matter of time. With the old routines came the rusted, sullied bits that they had all tried so hard to bury away, with each packed bag and boarded plane. Techno knew Wilbur wasn't trying to be mean. Phil knew that. Will knew that as well. Deep down. And hopefully, Tommy did too. But Wilbur didn't react well to being told there was something he wasn't allowed to know. They were similar in that way. So you two are just like obsessive freaks. Got it. Well,
You two can't stand that like Tommy is a person outside of being like a toddler. Okay, hold on.
Well. Well, it must be important enough to occupy all your attention. And maybe I would think it's interesting. Have you ever thought of that? I could totally be interested in whatever's on your phone, Wilbur was saying. Then, more bitter. Come on, dude. At least try. Dude. At least pretend to be enjoying spending time with us. Well, maybe you could at least pretend to be enjoyable.
We got savage Tommy.
Oh, you little brat! Something in Tommy's gaze flickered. Something steeled and sharpened like a blade. Something dangerous. Something Techno had never seen in his brother's eyes before. And his lips twisted into a snarl. He opened his mouth to speak, to probably say something foul, that would leave Techno's ears ringing for hours at the sheer volume of it. But he was interrupted by Phil clearing his throat, silencing the two bickering boys in front of him. Techno wouldn't lie. It was impressive how effective it was. Okay, so you're expecting Tommy, this, like, 15-year-old, or however old he is, to, like, fucking screech? Okay.
Wilbur is so fucking immature, dude.
They all are. This has got to be the most immature version of SBI I have ever read.
Tommy is the only one with the excuse. Like, he's a fucking child.
He's like your age. He's like your age.
Would I act like that? Maybe, honestly.
Yes.
Next to him, Techno could hear Phil's breath become tight with exasperation. Their father reaching over to place a placating hand on Wilbur's forearm and sending Tommy a pointed look.
Wilbur's the one who needs comforting. Okay.
Boys, he said again, voice heavy in wariness. No fighting, not on the first day back. Wilbur, please respect your brother's privacy. And Tommy, put your phone away. It's rude. I thought I taught you better than that. You didn't teach him shit. You never talked to him. Shut the fuck up, Phil. Wilbur huffed and pulled his arm away from their father's hold, looking miffed, but nothing more, nothing less. Tommy, on the other hand, physically recoiled, eyes shining with fury. The lightning before a thunderclap. Techno had rarely seen his brother that angry. It was an emotion reserved for stolen DS cartridges and missed sleepovers, but never for family, never for Dad. And what had happened between the old man and that kid? What had happened that Tommy felt so comfortable turning a burning glare upon their father, and not one suited for a domestic spat over dinner? Again was that uncertainty. Again was that stranger. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Tommy, Wilbur muttered, following due course towards the resolution of tonight's Wilbur tantrum.
Like it's scheduled, dude.
It is scheduled. They literally said right on schedule.
Oh my god, Wilbur is such a little bitch.
Phil loosed a sigh and turned towards the youngest, hopefully, a nervous smile on his face as he waited to hear whatever would come from the teen's mouth. When it seemed like nothing was to be uttered, Phil gave a firm Tommy. Fine, I'm sorry, he groaned, leaning back in his chair as he glowered up at his brother. Techno raised an eyebrow. That was easier than expected. That you're a massive prick. Okay, well, it wasn't that easy then. And there's that clap of thunder. Phil squeezed his eyes shut, and the crow's feet near his temple became more pronounced. Tommy, go to your room or apologize, please. Bruh.
I would have just been like, bye. Be like, oh, I get to go to my room now, bye.
Yeah, so would I. Tommy's smirk promptly fell off his face, and his mouth fell open in a gaping, "Are you kidding me?" The teen continued to splutter, his face screwed up and cheeks puffing, his indignation as if he was trying to say something. But his growing frustration left him speechless and spitting at Phil's stony expression. Techno waited for the cursing, for the loud-mouthed boy he had grown up with to rear his ugly head. and the rain that came with the storm to begin pounding down. But as Tommy drew himself out of his chair, all gangly bones and cutting eyes, the teenager just shrugged and murmured, "Whatever, see you later." Okay. Before dashing away to his room, each step a quiet, retreating clash of thunder that grew farther and farther away until no lightning was in sight. Another break in the old routine. Techno's so used to them arguing all the time that he misses it. This is so pathetic. And so that led Techno to his third and final conclusion of the night. This whole bonding thing that Wilbur had his heart set on. The last hurrah before Tommy applied for college, and this house became nothing more than a museum to the leftover memories. Before they told Phil and Tommy the true reason they were visiting. Well, it was going to be a hell of a lot harder than they thought. Why are they visiting?
Yeah, no, that's something that never gets answered, and I don't know how I'm going to write for Star's rewrite.
That never gets answered? Why they were
because
visiting?
It's discontinued because Wilbur is a fucking shitty human being.
I genuinely thought it was discontinued before then because of how little there was posts.
Well, because the author was in college, I think.
Well, there's 17 chapters, so that's a good chunk already. Like, that could be a story alone with 17 chapters.
It can be a story long, but I'm not sure if I'm writing from the beginning or just where the author left off yet.
Left off, probably. Or, honestly, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you'll see.
The first word out of Tommy's mouth when he shut his bedroom door was "fuck." Okay, Tommy. That entire dinner was a circus, one of water-drenched clowns and prowling lions and whips. He hadn't fought with anyone like that in a while. There was no reason to. Phil was always gone, and Tubbo didn't take that crap, and made sure Rombo didn't either. So maybe it was a bit of it. Maybe a bit of it was pent-up energy he needed to expel. Nerves that were still alight with worry over this open mic and his brother's sudden arrival. But still, he didn't know why he'd gotten so defensive when Wilbur asked. My breath is like...
Breath is gone.
When Wilbur had asked about his phone, it wasn't even that big of a deal. Wilbur was just being an ass and trying to get up in his business. But God, when he had heard Wilbur's condescendingly called him a brat. Okay. I had just gotten so angry. I feel like this isn't grammatically correct. I can't focus when it's not. He had felt like he felt as though the entire room had been awash with electricity. That he was a colored dog chained to a fence, all snapping teeth and raised hackles. Sure, he had gotten pissed at his family before. Heck, his childhood memories were mostly of him and Wilbur having a row of some sort. But fury like that had been hard to come by these past few years. That was a lie, of course. There was sophomore year, where he was less chained dog and more cornered. I'm trying so hard to read this. It is the wording is just oh my God. Okay. A thing of
I feel like every chapter we make Kai read this, the more fucking sad she's gonna make her book as vengeance.
I've been like stuck on chapter 3, but I think I'm getting ideas on how to make it worse. So
How to make
I was trying to pick the book for the next one.
Do we have time for a second chapter today?
I don't know. It honestly depends on what life is doing.
I don't have anything I'm doing. I'm just making resin.
Okay.
Do we want to do a second chapter?
I would like to do a second chapter. If you guys are too tired or want to take a just stop for today, we can always come back to.
Well, we didn't stream last Sunday, so we should do at least one more to make it up. What do you think, Guy?
But if we stream tomorrow because of Monday and Canadian Thanksgiving, then.
Alright, so we're gonna. So do you just want to do a chapter Monday? What do you think, Kai?
We can finish this and then do like 2 chapters Monday.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. And next time I'll have tea already made. That way I don't have to turn on the loud ass kettle on stream. Okay. The year where he couldn't stand the sight. Oh, wait. The thing of fangs and claws that bit everyone who came near and almost ruined every friendship he had. The year where he couldn't stand the sight of this empty house, and so he had decided that he would destroy everything within it, including himself. But hey, it wasn't his fault. Bulber was being a prick, and he was being nosy. So of course, Tommy had every right to retaliate. And who was Phil to think he could send Tommy to his room? Who was this stranger to act as if he had been home every day after school? As if he had cooked dinners every night without fail? As if he had any right to scold Tommy like that? To scold Tommy like he was still 8 years old and not the senior high school. And not the senior in high school that he was. These sentences are so long.
Wait a second. Wait, no. Tommy's more my age if he's a senior in high school.
Close enough. Whatever. That was bullshit. It wasn't his fault that he entered the dinner with that creature clawing at his throat, howling to get out. That all it took was one wrong word from his big brother for it to bare teeth. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't. Bah, bah, bah. He tried to ignore the voice in his head that reminded him that he was indeed responsible for the fallout of his actions, even if it was a knee-jerk reaction. Why the hell did the morally sound part of him have to sound so much like Tubbo? Okay, codependent bitch. His body shook, hands fidgeting at his sides as he paced the room, looking for an outlet for all this excess energy. Okay, so you have poetry, but the one time you need to write it, you just don't.
Keep reading, Kai. It's getting there.
He felt like a pressurized can. One puncture hole from exploding into bits of tin and toxins. And dimly, he wondered if he should write this down. Yeah, maybe. Dumbass. Puffy always said that writing was a good way to decompress after an emotional experience. And heck, his best poetry was always ones in the aftermath of whatever had ruined his day. But it just felt too raw, too much. There were too many thoughts, too many metaphors swirling around in his head. Definitely getting water next time. In an attempt to pin it down to language, hurricanes snapping telephone wires, shattering plates, things that were combustible, and things that were too heavy to float. All of it was crashing down upon him. He couldn't think beyond the images bombarding him, beyond the itch on his palms and the ache under his knuckles, to write, but inability to pick up a pen. He couldn't do it. Bro, it's pathetic. He couldn't do anything but pace the length of his room, shaking out his hands and muttering lines of poems he had once read, all haphazard and fragmented. He needed to calm down. He needed to get that monstrous anger out of him before it began to destroy everything again. He forced himself to sit at his desk, flicking on his trusty overhead light and prying open his government textbook. At least he could put all this excess energy into doing his summer homework, even if he hated it. Why do you have summer homework?
Summer homework is gay.
Extra classes.
That's
Probably,
so
that way
cringe.
he has more-
He just couldn't write right now. Not while he was still feeling like this. Processing. You're processing. A voice that sounded a bit too much like Mr. Sam for comfort hummed reassuringly. Just give your hands and brain something to do. You can always write later. Right. Processing. That he could do. He just needed to process. Whatever the fuck that meant anyway. Then he could go back to focusing on his poetry and the upcoming open mic. Go back to his little world and similes and gazzles? Gozzles? I don't know that fucking word, but okay.
Spell the word?
I'll just type it.
Sure.
Hang on. Hurriedly, he flipped the pages of his textbook until he found the appropriate page number and header. Gerrymandering and voters' rights.
Why are you acting like you're going through the 5 stages of proofreading it?
Why is he doing this in high school? I swear I learned that like middle school or earlier.
Not
What?
high school is insane, Kai. And you didn't even go to fucking high school.
I did online school for part of it.
Me?
I thought you dropped out of college.
I am a college dropout. I went to college early, and then it fucking sucked, so I just dropped out.
Yeah, so you did go to high school.
No, she didn't go to public high school. She was homeschooled.
Oh, no, I did go to some
Oh.
high school.
Never mind then.
Besides online school, I did, wait, actually, let me see. Hang on. 9 to 12, never mind, yeah, that was online. I did middle school in person. Yeah, no, I did that online. Okay. Then I learned this in middle school!
Oh my god.
Wait, no, I learned this before we moved. That was in elementary school. Tommy needs to
I
catch
didn't
up.
learn this until I learned it on my own, so.
Bruh.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. What are we talking about? You guys aren't getting answered. You're treating me. Tell me whenever Chris can talk to.
I can't hear you.
That's, she said you're treating me like how you how Phil treats Tommy. Like,
Oh. Well, that's because I can hardly hear you because your mic kind of sucks, to be honest.
oh yeah.
Okay, to not be completely above the mic. What are we talking about? What did you learn in
Oh,
elementary school?
gerrymandering and voters' rights.
What the hell is that?
Oh shit.
So we have a class lesson right now?
Hold on, a little bit of U.S. history.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is something American?
Oh,
Or is
yeah.
it something where...
I forgot you're not American.
Yeah, no, I'm Canadian.
Oh, you're in a cringe place.
At least I have rights.
Oh, fuck you.
We have rights too. We have the rights to bear arms, motherfucker.
Yeah, what a
Yeehaw.
great right it is,
You don't
huh?
have the right to make this randomly, like, you guys also don't have healthcare as well. Or at least
Our healthcare is better than your healthcare. You don't have to wait like months on a waiting
My
list.
dad can beat up your dad.
I get a little
That's how
bit
you
too
sound
American
right now.
when life brings up that she's Canadian. It's like something. It's like when a British person starts making fun of America.
Yeah, actually, fuck the British.
Yeah, no, fuck British people.
yeah, no. All of us can agree. Screw Britain.
British people don't deserve rights.
Especially Wilbur.
The funny thing.
We say this as we're reading a fan fiction about British Minecraft YouTubers.
Wait, Techno is American.
Oh yeah, Techno deserves rights.
Yeah, he deserves rights.
Snowblade's the only one who gets rights in this.
Yeah, because a lesbian called him actually kind of funny once, so that automatically gives you rights.
Yeah.
Lesbians are the ones who give you rights. Remember that, people.
Yep.
So I'm a lesbian. Do I have rights because I'm a
No,
lesbian?
you don't have rights. You just have the
No, you
like,
live
but
in
you
America.
the only right you have is the right to give people rights.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Life, you don't have any rights.
No, you can't
You
subtract
can't
the
give
rights.
You can't.
You can only give it.
That's gay.
Yeah, you are gay.
That's the point.
He didn't need Wilbur or Techno or Phil to try to butt into his life again, because he didn't care what they thought or wanted. Wilbur's adamant need for his attention, and Techno's cool indifference, was just another fixture of his life he had to adapt and overcome. He didn't owe them an answer to what he was doing or who he was. Didn't need to give them access to his life again, because he didn't care.
Period.
Downstairs, he could hear
Lincoln.
feet shuffling and the sound of plates being washed and dried. There was the murmur of voices, some raised, some horribly quiet, and he couldn't help the tumble of his stomach. He gripped his pen tighter, the ballpoint tip hovering over the lined paper, as he hesitated, glancing blindly at the textbook before pressing down hard. Did you just stab the paper?
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
You don't ever get so fucking angry that you just stab it? Like one of my textbooks literally has a hole because I stabbed my pencil in it too deep.
No. I draw my nail across the paper to leave an indent in it.
That's weird.
You're weird.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
I just grabbed a random piece of paper and wrapped it.
Alright, keep reading.
But what? Wait. But why would you want to rip the paper though?
Because I don't know, I was angry.
I'm talking to life. Why would you get a separate piece of paper?
Oh yeah, that's gay life.
No, because I have anger management issues and I've never been able to really control my anger when I get upset. And that can just lead me to have violent outbursts. So I just take it out on a piece of paper rather than taking it out on myself or somebody else.
Alright, I guess that's fair.
Okay, that makes sense. But come on, the paper.
Justice for the paper.
Justice for the paper.
The paper does not have rights. It does
No.
not.
You could.
You the paper rights.
I'd allow you to beat me up as long as you leave the paper alone. Leave the paper alone.
I couldn't put a hand on you.
As a lesbian, I give the paper rights.
Why'd you have to do that? You have to give the paper rights. Come on.
The paper
Oh,
has
I
rights
read
now. The
paper.
lesbian declared it.
Keep reading.
But the truth was, he did care. Dangerously so. It had been practically 8 years since he had last seen both of his brothers together, had heard Techno's low drawl, and felt Wilbur's breath flutter near his ear as he whispered a crude remark under Phil's keen eye, and he missed it. Tommy missed all the things that came with brotherhood. Popsicle-soaked t-shirts, and running through sprinklers, kicked shins under kitchen tables, and misplaced laundry. sharing blankets and popcorn bowls together, laughter, so much of it that he thought his heart would burst from the euphoria charging through his veins. All the images he had tried so hard to lock away under metaphors about streetcars and tight ropes. He didn't want to admit it to himself, open his heart again to be brutally torn and squashed upon the pavement, but he missed his brothers.
That's so real of him, dude.
My cough sounds like a
And not
smoker's
really.
cough.
My sister can do whatever she likes. I don't give two shits.
Underneath his pen, the ink pooled, pressure still unflinchingly. What kind of pen does he have? Like, is it a fountain pen? Because that doesn't happen to me. Like, I know it's common to, like, have the ink, like, pool up, but that doesn't happen if you're not moving the pen. At least a little.
That happens with, John, I'm forgetting the brand of pen. Let me find it.
Like, normal ballpoint pens don't really do that.
I mean, I have calligraphy pens and they do that.
Well, those are different.
Yeah,
They're for calligraphy. Is he using a calligraphy pen for his summer homework?
You know what? From now on, whenever I write an essay that needs to be handwritten, I'm writing it in a calligraphy pen. Okay.
Sure.
Joy Paper Me. Those ones cool.
I swear I've had those before because they're cheap, and they don't.
You guys are doing too much with the fucking pen. Leave the pen alone.
No, it's important. It's an important detail. I never actually see ink pool, like, unless it's a fountain.
Mr. Pen. Mr. Pen. It has a fancy little mustache on it, but Mr. Pen also leaks. Or also.
Cringe. Pressure
I like
still
it.
unflinchingly being applied to the single mark he had started until it began to flood his paper, crinkling as it soaks through the thin sheet and onto the wood of his desk. Oh God, he was more afraid of what they would say if they found out about his poetry. Yeah, because your poetry is fucking stupid.
Why?
Bullying the poetry boy.
You haven't even read, like, you haven't even gotten to where the part where he reads his poetry. That, like, poem is, like, so, I love it.
No,
It's
the stupid
right.
part about it is that they're out there reading aloud their poems. That's weird as hell.
Have you never gone to a poetry reading?
No!
She
Do you think I
we
want
established
to
this, like,
die
the first
like that?
time.
I'd rather die any
I've
other
been
way.
looking for poetry readings that aren't in bars because I cannot go into a bar. And I really want to go to like a slam thing.
Oh my
But
God, people like you.
no.
I would love to.
I hate you both.
No, anyway, Kai, we established this, like, I think the first time that, like, Kai is completely okay with torture, but she would rather never, ever, like, on any circumstance, read out anything that helps with his poetry. You know what, you can torture her, you can kill her, but
Yeah.
if you make her read a poem out loud, she might die.
Damn.
She might combust.
Let's see. He wasn't stupid. He
Damn,
knew both
I
of his
can't-
brothers had a
can't stand
fluency.
poetry.
What?
I can't stand the poetry.
Yeah, Kai hates gay people, so she hates poetry too.
That's how that works.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
There's a huge correlation.
with hating gay people and hating poetry, obviously.
Clearly. I'm sure there's studies done on hating poetry and hating the gays.
Hold on, let me
You know what? I will actually commence one of these studies at my school and let you know how that goes.
Okay. He wasn't stupid.
We know
He
a
knew
lot.
both of his brothers had a fluency for literature he had lacked up until recently. Wilbur was a musician, a poet in all means of the word, able to twist language to wrap around his melodies in a way that left Tommy breathless from envy. And Technoblade was a rising English professor for Christ's sake, and they could pass accurate judgment upon his work. What would they say upon hearing his words? Would they find him worthy enough of this title poet he clung to? Or would they scoff at his fledgling attempts at art? Yeah, probably, because
They're jackasses.
you're in high school and you're just now getting into poetry.
I'm just reading the next chapters. Oh, I cannot wait.
Is the next chapter the slam? Oh my god, please tell me it's the slam.
Oh,
That
you
was
want to
like-
kill me? Okay. You know what? Just so you know, I will be writing all night.
Literally not a threat.
I will be writing Nikki Nachu all night.
Wait, are we getting Nikki angst in this?
No, wait. What chapter are we on?
4. On Ars
Okay.
Poetica. Why?
I was just wondering.
Oh, okay. No, the next story will have a little bit of angst, especially with Nikki, but don't worry about it. It's not too bad.
So, now I kind of want to read the next chapter with you today, so that way we get more things.
What do you mean?
No, it's not the next chapter. It's the chapter after that. That's the slam.
Darn it.
Okay.
It's chapter 6. That's the slam.
Well, I'm just gonna be writing very, very scheming things just as revenge, because since we're reading 2 chapters tomorrow, I mean, we have to read them both. But he was also terrified of what would happen if they did find him worthy. If they would look at him and the words tumbling from his mouth and onto his palms and take it willingly, eagerly, what would he do then? He wouldn't be their little Toms anymore, of clumsy words and childish hands. With that growing up came the loss of the small naive hope he had tried so hard to kill. That one day his brothers would see him as their little brother again. Oh, ow. And his father would still see his little boy. I'm confused. What do you want, Tommy? What do you want? Like,
It's a slam.
He wants his family.
I thought
Do
he
you
hated
ever just
them.
wish-
Do you hate them or not?
You can hate somebody and still want
You
them
can,
in your
yeah, you can still like hate somebody, but still mourn the idea of them.
Never had that happen to me.
No.
No, wait, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
See.
I forgot about one person. It was all so precarious. This escape, this brotherhood, all of it was teetering upon the precipice of being lost forever. Slam had given him a way out, and now it could provide his brothers a way in. And that was more terrifying than anything he could ever imagine. We cannot last forever. He took a measured breath, finally picking up his pen from the last page as he turned the words over in his head. A line from a poem he had stowed away for a rainy day. He was unsure of what exactly he was mourning. I loved music before I loved books. I loved Mozart before I loved you. Ugh. The pen clattered onto the desk as it fell from his fingers. He shut his government textbook and leaned back in his chair as he sighed, hands finally laying still from where they spasmed and arms growing heavy. There was that fear again, that whatever he had loved before poetry would be able to find its way back to him, that he would be forced to look at that growling creature housed in his throat, face to face, and he'd be forced to let it go free. And there was that child hope, too. Still unkillable, still throbbing. Tommy gave a wry smile, a thing too frayed with hurt and bitterness to really be considered a smile, but just fractured enough to be considered one of Tommy's. There was something to be said for a heart in conflict, something that begged to be immortalized and drawn from the abstract into the tangibleness. Fuck that word.
Tangible?
I know that word, but fuck it. Begged to be
That's not
elegized.
true.
I don't know that word. What the fuck is elegized? That was the thing about being a poet he hadn't realized he signed up for. You were always finding new ways to befriend the monsters you kept under your bed. So he picked up a pen and got to work. Not the same pen? I don't know. Okay.
Probably a different one. Also,
What?
I want to say it's a different pen.
Oh, okay. Well, that's stupid. Alright. Oh, Book Lover 11, hello. You chatted at, like, the end of the stream, just so you know, but hello.
Yo, we got it. We got a chatter.
Yeah, we got a chatter. I'm surprised anyone's even here. I closed out my chat on my phone because I didn't expect that to happen. But
Wow, we have a fucking chat. That's why.
it happens every now
That
and
is amazing.
then.
It's specifically book lover, meaning that
They came for this. They came for this specifically.
it probably came from Kai's stream.
Alright.
No, not Kai's stream. Stars YouTube.
Maybe.
Well, there wasn't that many viewers.
There were like 50 views on each one.
That's well.
Since I last checked.
That was
Let me check.
yeah.
Since I last checked, there were about 50 on both.
That's a good amount.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let you know my thoughts on this chapter. It was really
Oh,
slow.
we're getting a deep break.
We're getting a breakdown. It was a really slow chapter. I think it was mostly made just to like flesh out like their dynamic a little bit more, 'cause like clearly the last chapter they couldn't, kind of. So that's what they were
It's
doing
like
with
kind of like a
this.
wedding.
It was leave
It was a fine chapter.
It
wasn't
was
really
like-
bad.
it
The
was like
next
a
chapters
fine.
are gonna be, in my opinion, the next chapters are gonna be a little bit better.
Okay. It was just kind of like a fine filler chapter, like
Yeah.
filler at like the base level like of understanding. Like obviously filler episodes and chapters are like useful because they help establish a dynamic and stuff. But
It's like a calm before a storm.
it was like what?
A calm before the
A
storm.
calm before
Oh,
a storm.
Yeah.
Like when you get previous information and then they use that information.
Yeah. I liked it, but I'm not a fan of the Technoblade slander. Still. 5'11" is wild. How can he be shorter than Tommy and Wilbur and is twins with Wilbur and like come on. Leave them alone.
We're not getting enough health. Okay, I love stories with short Technoblade. Especially when they're short in the Dream Recipe universe.
I hate you.
He's a short king.
Okay, just imagine having a 5'11" pigling defeat you and a full blow-bait entire nation.
But it wouldn't
That's
work as well for battle unless you're going for the legs. But he killed Quackity by putting it through his teeth. So
He
No.
was also probably jumpy.
You guys just like to yap over literally nothing.
This is why you
Yeah.
talk to me, because, yeah. Other than that, since we're reading 2 chapters tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm excited for those chapters. It
I
sounds
am
like they're
very
gonna be
excited.
painful
I
to
am.
read.
We have no people
Wait.
excited.
I am ready to amp up my Wilbur hate by like 10. I fucking hate him, dude.
Okay.
We just have like our Giles open.
I apologize, chat.
Okay.
I'm gonna be tomorrow. I fucking hate. I'm gonna get so pissed, dude.
Question. We time.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah.
Bet.
Huh?
Hmm?
Bet.
Bet?
What are we?
Yeah.
Bet. Okay. Anyway.
What?
You know, like when you meet plants and then you're like, bet, like, cool, okay.
Well, what were you saying bet to? Like, what was the plan? Huh?
I asked if we were doing it at the same time.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
said yes. So I said bet.
No, I was
Yeah.
asking you, yeah, like, what do you, like, to repeat? Okay.
Oh.
Well, now I
don't
know.
really know. I don't really know what time my therapy ends. I think it ends at like 5.
Yeah, that should be
Or
good.
like 5 or like 5 my time. So 6. Oh my god, 6 y'all's time. So
Yep, so it works out. So for the one viewer in chat, Book Lover 11, we gotta shout you out. We'll be streaming at the same time tomorrow. We're gonna be reading 2 more chapters. It sounds like it'll be physically painful to read, but I'll have tea. So we'll see you then. Bye bye.